Welcome back for another episode of Super Fun Game Review Podcast Go. Find us on Facebook.com/superfunpodcast, Twitter.com/superfunpodcast, Patreon.com/superfunpodcast, Instagram at superfunpodcastgo, iTunes at Superfun Game Review Podcast Go. Thanks and enjoy the show.
Welcome back for another episode of Super Fun Game Review Podcast Go! I will be your host tonight, sitting around the table to my left, Ralph.
Rigatoni, ravioli, spaghetti, lasagna, mamma mia!
He knows what's coming tonight.
Ezio!
Clark.
It's me, a clock man.
Harry.
I killed everybody holding an instrument.
Oh, you did. You.
And of
Hater of
course,
music.
your favorite host, Steve. And like Ezio, I have many outlets as well.
Yay, Steve!
It's vaginas.
Yay.
All right.
You have many vaginas, Steve?
Yes.
Cut that in.
About 3.
Cut it in.
It just stays.
Yeah,
Cut
You know
it
what?
in.
Cut that in. You mean don't actually take it out at all. That's what that means, Harry. That's magic of editing.
I'm gonna cut that shit in.
Thank you.
All right. So for the mounting Italian jokes, and as you have seen for pictures, at least scrubbing the grass.
It's only okay when I do it. It's only okay when I make Italian jokes.
That's not true.
No.
No, let's make that clear.
That's just not true.
But
Tonight,
but
we have Assassin's Creed 2.
You mean not the first one or the third one? But
No.
the second one?
The one in the
fourth
middle.
one? Second one.
the
the
12th one?
second.
How many years has it been?
Assassin's Creed Junior.
What's the
Prince
scene
of
here?
Persia?
All right. Initial impressions. Harry, go.
Oh, man. So I only played a couple hours of the first one many years ago before my Xbox got banned from the Live network.
Oh, you too?
Yay.
Yeah.
Oops.
I was not impressed. And I've literally deleted almost this entire franchise out of my
Memory?
Yeah.
Oh.
So I was a little hesitant getting into this game.
Just like you are.
Good. I see that you say that.
No, that's as well great as I am insight, hesitant
Harry.
about speaking about the game.
Okay.
But well, you'll see.
What the fuck was that?
What the fuck was that? What the fuck was that?
Oh, you can go screw.
Harry really likes The Ring.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's
Grudge?
The Grudge. Thank you.
Who's not into dead chicks though?
Oh.
Ralph, cut that in.
Cut it in.
Yeah, I don't know. You'll see how I feel about the game.
All right, fantastical. Ralph.
Okay, so yeah, I avoided Assassin's Creed as well. I played a couple hours the first game, similar to Harry, but I was looking forward to playing this one because I'd always heard good things about it, and I thought the setting was cool, and I knew that eventually I was going to meet up with Da Vinci and get into, hijinks, so I was looking forward to it.
He said hijinks.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So?
All right, that's fine.
Motherfucker. I'm going to leave that in. You can go screw.
All right, Clark. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I was playing fussies that time.
What the fuck?
What the fuck?
My initial impressions of the game, I played the first one. I wanted to like it a lot more. It was an interesting concept more than anything else. The second game I was really looking forward to, and this is the first time that I've actually beat the game. I feel like I had a lot more time to do more stuff because there is a lot in this one. And I continued on with the franchise, and I actually really like some of the later ones. This one was okay.
Are you doing that on purpose?
Doing what on purpose?
So I thought, and then you were just like, you like led into it. I can't tell if you're fucking with me or not.
I think that one was natural.
Natural?
What are you talking about?
Well, actually, let's just move on.
Bless you.
Love the game.
So I never actually played the first one. And the only thing that actually sparked any interest in this was one of my coworkers at the time was talking about the franchise. And when he was saying the second one was set in, Italy, like that sounds like where it could be pretty fun. And then I watched a couple trailers. It looked, decent enough to pick up and spend money on. And I was glad I did initially when I very first played the game. And round 2, I was happy to bring it to the table again because I found enough enjoyment where I was hoping we would have enough for this, which I'm sure we all have some opinions about this game.
Mm-hmm.
With that, let's move right on into game development.
Oh, wait a minute. You just reminded me of something I actually remember the trailer for this game because I remember the way that the trailer that I saw ended was with Ezio shooting someone from across like a distance of like 30 yards or something. And I remember thinking, what the hell? Like they didn't have guns like that at that time where he just like touches his gauntlet and like kills the one guy. And it's all built up to be like, oh, you can't get us. We're too far away. And he's just like, man, whatever.
He
poops on him?
Yeah.
It's weird. I remember that trailer from like the impression that it made on me when I first saw it in, I guess, 08 or 09.
I remember.
Fucked it up.
And on that note, let's move on into game development.
Game development.
The game was made.
10,000 years ago.
This game was made by Ubisoft. Go ahead, Harry. Sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to say it came out in 2009.
Yep.
Ubi.
2-year development after the 2007 original title.
2-year turnaround time. That's not too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I mean, if they really had, maybe given it 10 years, we would have been better off, I think.
Oh, I have another game like that. I feel like we should play that too.
This franchise would have died after 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Guaranteed.
absolutely would have. The first one, while successful, didn't have a lot of like critical acclaim. It was getting like an average of like 6 to 7, I remember at the time, out of 10. A lot of review places did that.
Funny, they use the same scoring system as me.
I kind of remember like this game sort of like they were trying to push to make it an event. Sorry, not this one. The first one. They were trying to make the first one like this is one of the premier games for the PlayStation 3 that I seem to remember. Was it exclusive did it have a limited exclusivity or was it always for both consoles? Do you guys remember?
No, I think it was for both consoles.
Okay, all right. Maybe I'm crazy.
But honestly, for the development of this game, it's really kind of your standard sequel for a game that was massively successful. They tried to kick it out in 2 years. They did successfully. There wasn't a lot of issues. There's only one issue that I really had with the game when it shipped, is that it's missing 2 chapters at the end. 12 and 13 were issued as DLC.
Yes, I think
after
they
the fact.
purposefully
disc.
did that, though, to rake in more money.
Yeah.
They knew what they were doing ahead of time.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Well, of course.
But you're right. It is an incomplete game, and I think it gets into that discussion we had like a week or two ago where we were talking about just like
The DLC.
DLC.
Yeah.
And like that exclusive content you have to sink more money into. Yeah, I get it.
It's just a huge trope now. I mean, maybe not in this regard where it's like literally on the disc and is locked and you have to buy it to get those missing chapters. But
Yeah, this is the kind of content that I was talking about where it's literally just locked away on the
Is
disc.
it really?
Yes, and you have to pay for it. Because when I bought Chapter 12 when it came out, and it was I believe like 210 kilobyte download, which is literally just a piece of code that unlocks.
wow, that's nothing.
Yeah.
It's nothing. It's literally a line or two of code. Maybe even 100 lines of code, actually, if I really think about it. But it's not much. And that is the kind of shit that bums me out. Like, if I'm going to pay for something, it's got to be something substantial.
Substantial and an add-on, something that's not actually on the game ready to go. Yeah.
Correct.
That's shameful.
Shame on you, Ubisoft.
The only
Shame.
the only time that should be done, really, honestly, in my opinion, is like pre-order bonuses. Sure, lock those behind a code because they're on the disc. That's fine. I don't care because they're free when you pre-order the game. I get it.
I don't like pre-order bonuses too. That's
They eventually become free anyway.
Yeah, most of the time
At
they
least
do.
a lot of them, it seems.
Some given time. But at least one perk of working on this game, they actually took the development team to Italy.
Yeah, to design.
So
design all the
they can
levels.
actually have accurate designs of the buildings and the architecture that was in, which I think was really, we'll get into graphics, but that really did help with the development of the game itself. It really did add a lot more to it.
I think it's a smart move, though. If they weren't going on site to get photos and images to like inspire the design of the game, I think there's a big issue, and I think you're going to miss some of those details.
Well, that's really one of the hallmarks of this franchise is that they attempt or strive for historical accuracy. So it makes a lot of sense the development team would go to these locations in Italy. It reminds me of Max Payne 3, where they took like numerous trips to Brazil to get the right feel for the game.
Right.
But for this, I mean, that's based on like, okay, it's set in Brazil. Let's take a couple trips. Here, it's like, no, we need to have the architecture right for these buildings. The players are going to be climbing on them. Like, they have to get like every stained glass window right. It's smart, and I have to say that for the franchise, like it or hate it, they really strive for that historical accuracy, and I think that should be commended.
Yeah, absolutely.
You are commended, Ubisoft.
Sort of.
Kind of.
One of your only.
No spoilers.
Shame. for the DLC, but high props for your historical accuracy.
I wasn't going to give any spoilers.
Oh, okay. I thought you were giving... Okay, never mind.
I was going to say, it's like one of the only decent things I can say about that company is how they treat their employees.
Ubisoft.
They are pretty good to their employees, except for when they shut down a studio, because that's usually rough. They don't really give any notice or anything, which is usually a violation of contract.
We're going to move into story.
Story.
Tell me the story. I want to know everything that happens in this video game. You tell me true.
All right, so who wants to throw out a bullet point first that we can
Who
dissect?
throws bullets? I'd like to shoot them out of my...
Well, let me talk about this part in
Oh.
this story. Okay, that's great. You shoot bullets out of your hand. I don't care. Here's the thing I like about this story. Okay, it starts in like 1476, right? You know the setting. Everything is wonderful. Everything is fine. And Ezio, he loves his life. He goes and he sleeps with a girl in the night, and then he flees away. And
That
I know,
whoremonger.
I'm turning into Dracula. I don't care. Anyway, over the course of the story, many years pass, and Ezio bleeps and bloops and goes from one location to another location instantly, which sort of ties into how the game is through
Oh, okay.
memory
I'm
and
glad the
DNA.
American Ralph decided to join us.
Oh,
tonight.
yes, he's
Yeah.
here. Like, the game, like, it makes sense in context that, okay, we have to be at this location at this time of the day, because you're, like, playing or living the game through your brain, that it would just automatically warp your DNA to that location. Like, that kind of makes sense, but I really like the way the memory sequences
So
took
you're
place
talking
over time.
specifically about the Animus and how the Animus works.
Well,
Is that
yeah,
correct?
I am talking about the Animus, but like I really liked how, and unless you're really paying attention to the numbers that you're seeing for the years, you might think this all takes place over a couple months until he goes on this like long tirade about how it's been 10 years since his father died, and I was like, is that right? And I went back and looked, like, holy shit, 10 years have passed in the breadth of the story of this game, and unless you're really paying attention to that, it might go unnoticed.
Well, where did
it's
you think...
symbolized by his beard.
Yeah, I was going to
Well,
say,
yeah, the
where do you
last-
think that
what?
sweet goatee came
The
from?
last chapter, he's got like this
Oh.
like beard going. I was like, oh, okay.
10 years pass and the man grows a beard.
Yep.
What other game have we played where that happened?
I don't know.
Last
It's
episode.
it's Final Fantasy.
Oh,
I saw the sarcasm and then I saw the actual deep thought.
I was like, wait a minute.
I like that they threw Bahamut in this game too.
Yeah, he was a nice addition.
Yeah.
Shiva can fuck off though. Did you like my tirade?
Yeah, it was lovely. I mean, you pretty
It was
much
shit.
You pretty much hit most of the things. You're Desmond, you're Subject 17, you're escaping the facility to set up an Animus in some warehouse, and then you dive in, and now you're Ezio. Ezio Auditore.
Yeah, a little
Yeah,
bit of
like-
Matrix action there, right?
For anyone that hasn't played like the first Assassin's Creed, like the Animus is this machine that Desmond gets into and then can access, and essentially you get to play the memories of his ancestors, which are all these elite assassins,
Yes, to defeat the Templar.
to defeat the Templar.
Templar bad.
Now, I will say, because I know they were trying to go for this big plot line with Desmond, I think it falls short because they don't really jump out of the Animus too much. There's like 2 or 3 points within the game. I'm sorry, go ahead, Rob.
No. You're absolutely fine. But I actually I had watched a video about a little bit about. Essentially, they took those Desmond chapters out of the second game based on criticisms of the first game. Apparently, the first game's very schizophrenic in terms of its gameplay. You go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
Like there's entire chapters where you play as Desmond running around, and it's very, very boring because you're learning how to be an assassin as Desmond with like no payoff of like actual people. It's like, oh, go assassinate this dummy. And it's like, well, that's stupid.
Well, no, I get it. But, okay, so try to follow me here. So in...
Where are you going?
You're trying to say that I
No,
think
no,
it has middle chapter syndrome.
Yes.
Well, I was
Yes,
saying, like...
definitely tell Harry what he's thinking.
Yeah.
That's what you're gonna say. My fingers are on my temples and I'm reading your mind.
Okay, so according to the characters in this game, the main plot is all about Desmond. And really what's happening in the Animus doesn't matter. It's just to gain knowledge to Desmond. But as a player to the game, it's all about, I feel, Ezio's story.
Well, yes, but the point that it crosses over and joins the two stories is all around the Apple of Eden.
Yeah.
And because that's what everyone's after. It so happens that Ezio is after it the entire time, and it kind of reveals towards really late in the game that that's actually what his goal has been. But the fact that they picked Ezio to put him into, or to access, was because they need information from the Apple to be able to continue in like the real world or whatever.
I get it. It just, I don't know. It just seemed, I guess what I was really trying to get to there is Desmond's story. Like they're trying to push this imagine a storyline between the 3 first games, I feel like there's not a lot of substance with Desmond's part of the story in this game.
In this one, no.
Do you think that's a detriment, or they should have just cut Desmond out altogether? Like, would this
I feel like they
franchise...
could have added maybe a couple more scenes with Desmond.
Okay.
I really don't know that whole party of characters too well. Like, yeah, I get it. The one guy's a dick on the computer. You got one person that's really techie with the chair, and then one person who's like sneaking around the lab to get Desmond out. Like, I get generally what the characters, but I don't really know those characters. So it's like either cut them out or show me a little bit more. Make them worth my while.
I mean, that also comes from the fact that you didn't really play the first one.
Right, and
A lot of that stuff is kind of, it's a little more substantial in the first one.
Yeah.
It's one of those games, though, that is not friendly about explaining past events because it jumps around in story so much that I don't think they want to re-explain stuff that happened before. What they actually did in games preceding it was they did a recap of what happened in the game previous. Like, they'll do like a 2-3 minute recap, which is appreciated, but they probably should have done it for 2 if they were going for a bigger commercial success.
It doesn't really stand on its own well, the story with Desmond. That arc doesn't, by itself, starting with 2 like most of us did.
Yeah, because it just looks like it's thrown in. Like, it's like there's supposed to be like a bigger backstory of why you're doing what you're doing, but they don't really focus on it, which, to be honest, for the game, I was okay with that. That's me.
And just to put it in a little perspective, they go from like crazy polar ends of like the spectrum of like as far as that storyline goes without a lot of substance to explain it in between. It's you start, oh, Desmond's escaping from this lab. Now we're hopping in a chair just so you can learn to become an assassin. And oh shit, now we got to worry about the sun flipping the magnetic field of the earth. And that's all pretty much summed up in 3 scenes with Desmond.
Yeah.
To be
Right.
completely honest with you.
Right.
Can you see like how large of a jump that is with just 3 interactions with those characters?
Yeah, absolutely. It's really weird. Also, they don't pay off. There's a certain point in the game where Desmond's mind, while he's in the real world, bleeds into Altair's, and he takes over as Altair. It's the only time you play as Altair in the game. And he never tells anybody about that. And like they kind of warned him, like, hey, if you start experiencing this, like
Longer than 30 seconds, I think.
yeah,
or
longer
something.
than 30 seconds, you need to tell us. And he doesn't. So they don't really pay that off, and it's never addressed again, which I thought was really weird.
I mean, this might be gameplay, but maybe not. I found it interesting that when Ezio gets to Da Vinci and he gives him like the gauntlet, and he's like, "Oh, it looks like we have to cut off your ring finger or whatever."
I loved that joke.
Yeah.
Leonardo da Vinci is my favorite character in this
Oh
game.
yeah.
Easily.
Yeah, we could talk about him for quite a while and the way that he's used in the game and how
Amazing it is.
how well implemented. Right. I didn't really completely get that joke until I did the Ezio chapter and noticed that he's missing that finger.
You mean the Altair?
Sorry. Yep. The Altair chapter.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys got to that part in the first one at all. For the assassin to be the assassin, they would have to hold their finger and extend the blade, and it would cut off their ring finger so that they could never be wed. It was their like giving
Their
themselves
sacrifice.
to the Assassin's Creed. Like, so they would cut off their ring finger with their assassin blade, and the blade would actually come out between their fingers as well.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah,
Worth it.
It's actually a really cool scene in the first one.
Interesting. I don't know. I don't think I have interest in going back and visiting the first one personally.
I wouldn't go back and play the first one. I highly recommend actually the next 2 in the Ezio trilogy, and then also the 4th one. I think Black Flag is
That was fun.
I've heard that's good.
I really
it's
did
one
enjoy
of
that
the
one.
best. I loved that one. When you and I lived together, I played hours upon hours of that game.
You get to be a fucking pirate.
Yeah, you get to be a pirate
great.
Yeah, no, I
posing
know, I
as
saw
an
you- I saw
assassin.
you- I saw you play
It's
that.
great.
Schooners.
Schooners.
So something I really liked about the story of this game, when you're in Ezio's storyline, there's some dialogue lines that I fucking loved.
Oh, it was great.
If you don't mind, I would like to read some of these that I
don't
pulled
mind
from
it.
the
Sure,
game.
absolutely.
And a lot of the ones that really made me laugh were all like sexually themed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
There's tons of them because like I mean this kind of goes into the gameplay and stuff, but there were like so many different groups of people that you could hire. One of them being whores. Yeah.
Harlots.
That's how I got
Harlots.
my
Harlots.
codex pages.
Coruscant. Is it Coruscants? That's
That's
a planet.
croissants.
Croissant.
Croissant. I hire croissant.
Wrong
Coruscant,
country.
where the Jedi Council resides.
Yeah.
So, okay, let me read through some of these lines. So the first discussion, he's having it with his mother, and his mother's like, you should get an outlet. And he's like, I have an outlet. And then his mom is like, I mean something other than vaginas. Another one, well, I know we were discussing this earlier, but his uncle comes up and he's like, it's a me, a Mario.
It's a me, a Mario. Yeah, that was great.
There was another one when he's talking to Rosa, and Ezio goes, nothing is impenetrable. And then Rosa laughs. And then there was another one, I forget the gentleman's name, but he's talking about, he's like, men's hearts grow finer. Oh, this is when the leader of the whore guild or whatnot, the whore guild. What do they used to call it? A matron or
Pimp?
The
matriarch?
maybe.
No,
Whoever
the madam.
The madam?
Madam.
Yes, okay.
Oh, she was like a nun, but not a nun?
Kinda.
Her?
She was like, men's hearts grow firmer in my care. And then he's like, among other things, I'm sure. I just they threw a lot of dialogue lines that I felt was noteworthy enough to write down and share this evening.
There was another one between those two where she's like, maybe you should come in for a massage and soccer. And he's like, I don't know, I could use quite a good bit of soccer. And then they take he takes like three of the women and like go in the... Yeah, it was all over the game. It was hilarious.
So no, I just wanted to throw that out. I think as far as dialogue goes in the game, I think they did a pretty solid job.
I would agree with that. I did enjoy.
Yeah. Something that I wanted to talk about, the Templars rather in general.
Mm-hmm.
The way that they've crafted this universe at this point is that the Templar are almost like the idea of the Illuminati. They're all people in power, very powerful people, and they're like keeping everybody down, and then you're like this assassin. And it was a very interesting dynamic because, towards the end of the game, you assassinate the Pope.
Yeah.
The elected Pope at the end of the game.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler alert. But it's a guy that's literally been responsible for...
Borgio?
Borgiero. Yeah.
The Spaniard.
Rodrigo.
Yeah, the Spaniard. Rodrigo, yeah.
Rodrigo Bronco.
No, wrong one. Yeah, didn't we already cover a game with an evil Rodrigo? Yeah. It was just interesting to me that they decided to make the Templars all people of power. And not even so much like, oh, they're like secret behind doors, powerful people. Like, these are all people that just kind of get away with whatever the fuck they want. Like, the whole reason that Ezio ends up going into this lifestyle to become an assassin, which I think we should definitely touch on, is the fact that his family gets screwed because his dad is part of the Assassin's Guild. The Templars find out about it, and then they kill him, his uncle,
his brother,
who's
two brothers,
and his two brothers. Yeah. The one who just loves them feathers. He just loves them feathers.
He really does love them feathers.
I was actually waiting for okay, I got 10 feathers. Is she gonna turn or move or anything? Nope, nothing. How many feathers do I have to get before she actually speaks?
No,
all of them?
Just keep collecting the feathers for the child who wanted to fly and got his wish.
Wow, that was dark.
He did. Well, so was the game. They hung a kid. Although, fun fact, they did not show the hanging kid. You saw the dad and the brother.
Yeah.
But the kid was so far low enough from the view from Ezio that you couldn't see it, which, I would say is probably a good choice because that probably wouldn't go over too well. But something I noticed.
Yeah, maybe if he had more feathers, he wouldn't have fallen so hard with that rope.
Fly, fly.
Fly away.
I am a bird.
Steve's flapping his arms right now.
Yeah, I'm sure that picked up on the microphone.
Yeah. That's for me. Fuck you.
So his family gets killed, except for his sister and his mother, and then they run away to his uncle, and they stay there in the villa for the rest of the story. And I do actually like that whole villa sequence, and we can get back to that. But throughout the course of the game, I really felt like, okay, his point was revenge for his family, and I feel like he got it, but then he just kept on going. Like, I know that is part of the story, that he's then accepted into the creed, and then he's basically commissioned to go kill the Pope, and they're like, no, Ezio, you're the prophet, and all that.
They don't even get into that until the last sequence of the game, though.
Very last,
which is crazy. Now, I know this is kind of semantics, and this is like a point that I don't like about the game. They don't do enough cohesive storytelling to tell you why he keeps going after these people.
Right.
And then they're like, oh yeah, we've been kind of giving you pushes and hints towards continuing down this path of vengeance. And it's like, well, actually, you're kind of manipulating his anger as a younger, impressionable person to like, and like he just doesn't realize it, but they're totally like pushing and manipulating
We've been
his
training
anger.
you the whole time. Well, they even tell him it's like we've been training you the whole time.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, so you're actually just kind of playing into all of his like anger and mixed feelings as like he's what, like 17 or 18 at the beginning of the game.
Good point. Yeah.
Like, he doesn't know how to handle something like that happening.
No, that kind of plays into a thought I had while playing this game. And yes, I get it that the Templars, they had this whole like secret society. I mean, even though it's like revealed they're not like the true threat of the world at the end of the game, they're still kind of revealed as like the bad guys. But I did have a couple thoughts throughout the game, like, are the assassins truly the good guys of this world?
For sure.
The world's not black and white. It's gray.
Ooh.
I don't know. There was a couple times because, like you were saying, he was manipulated. Like, he just ran into somebody new at a new city or something like that. Oh, this guy, he's doing this and this to me. And Ezio immediately is like, oh, yeah, let me take care of it. I'm going to go kill him, kind of thing. There was a couple things, like, he wasn't really thinking for himself. Like,
well, yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. They manipulated him into doing all of these tasks that pushed him down this path of vengeance. And, like the Spaniard that he ends up killing at the end, Borgia, he's not really even super involved in having his family killed.
No.
No.
It's all that one family, really,
Mm-hmm.
that you kill right in the beginning, and that could have been the vengeance. And then, okay, so here, this is again like one of those things that pisses me off. Just like how you don't get the chance to kill Rodrigo at the end of Max Payne 3, you don't kill this Rodrigo. He opts to just be like, I'm over it. I've laid thousands
Yeah.
of people out at this point. I am at the pinnacle, and like this is the whole moment. I'm going to let you go.
No.
Why?
Yeah, that was
that was
disappointing.
kind of very frustrating. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially after I had to get so many fucking codex pages just to do it.
Oh God, the fucking codex pages.
We'll save on that, but yes.
no,
when it
we
comes
don't need to
this-
say. We don't need to save on it because
is
apparently
kinda story.
that is like the story unlock for the last mission.
Yeah, that's
You have
true.
to collect all these fucking pages, which they don't give you any context to, other than it kind of looks like a map, and then they
It gets lost in a sea of other collectibles, and you don't realize its significance until you're in the final chapter.
Because they make you.
I mean, I had to collect 15 just to go on the last mission.
I had to collect 11. I think I had.
I was down to
19.
10. I was down to 10 because after you sent me that text the other day, I was like, all right, cool. I found this one on the way to this mission. I'm just going to stop and get it, kind of thing.
It was annoying.
As far as the codex pages go, they could have incorporated that more into the story. And
They could've.
not just a run and just go collect them all real quick at the end.
Yeah.
Like, it could have been like, oh, hey, like, we have this mission in this sequence. We have this mission in this sequence, and just kind of intertwined them with the story.
Yeah,
More.
made it a little more relevant throughout the entire game instead of if you only... Because there's the one part where they make you, when you get to the villa, your family's villa for the first time, and you have to run around and collect, I think it was the 6 codex pages. It's like, all right, here's another thing for you to collect, just like there's assassination missions that pop up, just like there's courier missions that pop up, just like there's
Bras.
finding the feathers.
You know what a great way they could have done it in this game? Since he's working with all these other assassins at this point, maybe they could have been splitting up. And as you're doing, because a couple of them are key missions where you're, Da Vinci is like, oh, you found another codex. There could have been maybe little story blurbs in between some of the missions, like, oh, such and such, he just found a codex for you. Or Rosa, she just brought back a codex for you, or something like that. Like, just, why did it all have to be you?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Like, that's a good way they could have incorporated in the story and still made you get your handful as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you guys can tell me if I'm wrong, but I think it's just padding. It's just padding for the end of the game. Like, when you get to that final chapter, and it's like, okay, you got to collect 15 codex pages. It's like, why? Why can't I just go to Rome and kill the Pope?
Well, I think what happened was they had a really good idea to take it down because obviously, it's like, what are these other lands, that we don't even know? And it's like, they are other lands, basically, where he's like, what is the rest of the world?
Oh,
basically.
like North and South America on the map?
Yeah. And I think that's initially something that they wanted to do and wanted to incorporate to really kind of broaden it. But the way they actually delivered it to us fell short because, like Harry's saying, if it would have been where they actually incorporated more of the importance of the codex pages throughout the entire game, That would have been fine on having to have all of them at the end to complete it, instead of getting through 11 chapters and then you're trying to go to the, exclamation mission point and everything's blocked off. And then it's like, oh, you have to get the rest of the codec pages. And I literally sat down, I'm like, fuck, I completely forgot about this. That was annoying. The way they presented it. I don't mind it in the first place. I don't mind the pages and how it brings the story. But the way they implemented that and just threw it in your face at the very end, shame.
Yeah, you have like a 20-hour game, and you could have sprinkled in the importance of that a little bit.
Yeah.
Even. So it's like, okay, maybe at the end they're like, oh, you have to go collect like the missing 5 pages.
Yeah, I'd be okay with that.
But like, you know what I did for fucking 15 fucking times? I went up, I double assassinated 2 of the people that were standing in the front, and then quickly assassinated the other 2 people, walked in and got the fucking page. 15 fucking times in a row.
I used the whores. Ha!
It's the fucking worst. Like, it's boring as fuck. Getting that collectible is boring. It's not challenging. It's not relevant. It's
Doesn't have any change-ups, nothing. You're right. It's the same shit over and over again.
Same shit over and over and over again.
And that sort of ties into what I'm like. It just feels like padding to me. It's like, why put this at the end of the game? Okay,
Right.
a sense of accomplishment. Like, I don't know.
Shame.
So disagree with me if you think the whole road.
You're wrong.
I think you're wrong.
They
Disagree.
You're so wrong. I don't even want to say it.
Disagree with me if you think.
Yeah, I know it was poor wording. So there was a
Feel
scene.
free to disagree with me
There was a scene.
For sake of confusion.
for sake of confusion.
Just let them go. God damn it.
There was a scene.
Feel free to disagree with Harry.
Aw, he's a
What?
kitty.
We're drawing it out.
You don't get your 15 minutes. Feel free to disagree with me. Just say it, Harry. Just
All
say
right,
it.
so there was a scene where you follow. This is actually when Desmond was hallucinating. The first time he took that break when he was learning his I know kung fu moves. Now
So when he's
kind of thing.
Altair.
Yeah.
So you follow an image of Rosa to the top of a castle and you bone her on top of a building.
Yes.
So that did
What-
look like Rosa? Okay, I'm
No,
not
it was
crazy.
definitely Rosa. At least in my, I'm like
Wait,
99.
who's Rosa?
Rosa was that one girl that gets an arrow
Shot
shot
in the
through the
leg.
leg.
It was
And
not. It was not Rosa.
Are you sure?
Same character
Yeah,
model?
Oh, what,
because
in the-
because they're Altair and Ezio are 200 years apart.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I could have sworn it was the same part of Venice.
No.
That yet you climb up on.
Either that
No,
or
that's where Altair starts Ezio's family. That's why he was still tied to her.
and
Okay.
that's why
I didn't know
it
what
showed
any of
an
that was.
extra glow actually on her belly, because when the scene was ending, it focused in right like on
her stomach.
on her stomach.
Okay.
Because
So that was like,
that was the night when the seed was.
So that was a
planted.
reference to the first game, more or less.
No, that's explaining how.
The lineage.
Yeah, the lineage. That's explaining.
Makes sense.
Yeah, because he Altair wasn't married. He was.
Yeah.
He stuck her with the stealth blade.
Oh, the fleshy stealth blade.
Sure.
So let's get into the interplanetary beings and the...
Yeah, let's
Scientology
We're going to talk about the
nonsense.
end here.
And time.
So after you don't kill the Pope,
Yeah.
biggest letdown of the game.
Is it though?
You walk into a room and then it
Wait,
becomes a
what-
planetarium.
I'm sorry. Before we get to that point, though, do you think there's a reason why they didn't put in killing the Pope in this game? Do you think it was because of maybe a potential backlash they would have gotten?
Oh God, they're worried about the
No.
I'm
Catholic
just
Church
saying,
coming after
I mean, they already
him.
pushed
the Vatican's
pushed
coming
the
after him.
boundaries with it. Why not finish the job? In my opinion,
Ubisoft likes to play it safe. That's their.
I'm saying, do you think there's any
Ah,
correlation
Holy
with
Father, I hear you like little boys. I'll spare you today. No, wait, I'll kill you anyway.
that? Do you think there was any do I have anything there? Like, do you think they
no,
backed
totally.
off of that?
I don't necessarily think it's. I think it has less to do with the Pope because every Assassin's Creed game since the second one, I don't believe it's in the first one. As soon as you boot on the game, they have that whole thing like, oh, this was created by a multiracial, multi-faith team that all believe in different things, that all are all different races, all different creeds.
Equality.
They're like,
Except women. We don't include women.
well, no, so
They had
like,
one where the assassin was a woman.
they literally put this out like trying to cover their bases, like, hey, just letting you know, like, I don't know, it's like that weird thing where people say like, oh no, it's okay because I'm friends with this person. It's like, not really. Like, you can't really just say whatever you want because you're friends with somebody else. Like,
you guys can make
it's-
Italian jokes because I'm here. It's all right. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, I would make Italian jokes just because you're Italian.
Fuck you!
Oh, get back on the boat. Jesus.
Papagu. I'm taking all my fingers and bringing them to a point and pointing them away from you.
Ralph, how did
vigorously.
you feel when you saw the Statue of Liberty for the first time?
Well, I was coming in on the SS Stockholm and I saw the
That's a weird name for a dude.
Yeah, I am Stockholm. Pleasure to receive you, Ralph.
I have a bit of a stutter. My first name is...
you are very not funny. You're very not funny.
America.
I don't know what this is now. This is not Italian or anything.
So what was your take on the old country?
I love Lisa so much.
All right, so
No, we want to know what was your...
Oh,
What's your take on the motherland?
are you Sicilian?
no. Well, no.
Moving on.
If you really want to get into it, my my great grandfather and my great grandmother were both from northern Italy.
I don't want to get into it.
I didn't think you did.
Here's where I come from. I don't care. Damn, Harry. It's cold.
Sorry, I'm all over the place tonight.
Cold ass
Yeah.
Harry.
Okay,
Where were we? Yeah, let's
magnetic
talk
pole
about,
switching.
Yeah, talk about the solar
Talk about
system.
your
How the
poles.
hell do we get there from everything else in this game?
To like Minerva. Yeah,
That was.
and like what?
Because why not?
Did M. Night write for this game?
Oh, ho, 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 ho. Ezio can swim, so no.
Red's the bad color.
Yeah, I don't know. Like what?
I assume that's fleshed out in sequels.
Flesh.
Fleshed.
But I
I mean,
wouldn't
if it
know
is,
because
let's
I
not.
didn't.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I have no idea.
It did seem really out of place. Like, how is this coming into it? Like, we got, I am Minerva. I am a creator and nothing. We have been here a long time before you were here, and we are not the creators. We
Are you a
something else.
god?
We
No.
created
I'm
our
not
own
talking
gods.
to you. I'm talking to him.
Yeah, and then
I speak
looks
to
right at the camera.
Desmond and break the fourth wall.
I'm sorry. That's the ending of this game was fucking stupid.
And then abrupt.
Yes.
It was
Yeah.
like,
Yes, super abrupt. I think my favorite part of the ending is Desmond's last line before the end credits, where he's like, "What the fuck?"
That kind of sums up the game, doesn't
yeah,
it?
yeah. No, it absolutely does, because I probably didn't hear him say it correctly, because I was saying the exact same thing. I was like, "What the fuck?"
What the fuck?
And then Desmond just, "What the fuck?" Like, yes. What the fuck indeed. That it's so weird, and they set
Now,
up such a weird
If they were
going
gonna
to
get to that kind of finale for this game, there should have been at least hints or a small trail at least started halfway through the game.
Yeah, they
like-
they could have set it up.
Like, oh,
way
wow, I
better.
found this map of something dealing with the stars, but it's encrypted. I can't read it. Like, something like that. Like,
Is that
something
kind of what the
allu-
codex
Yeah.
is?
No,
No,
it's a map of the.
It's a map of the world that
That
but
at
no
least-
one at that time knew what the world looked like the land masses. But that's what I'm saying. They say like,
Oh,
oh,
yeah,
there's
'cause you know
continents
what?
that they don't know.
That's crazy. That's funny that you say that, because I think the game ended in 1492.
Oh,
Isn't that the
Christopher
year
Columbus.
Christopher Columbus sailed? They had no idea that the whole North
yeah.
and South American continents even existed.
Sacre bleu.
Boom.
You know.
Well, except for
He was sailing to India.
America.
That's why I call him
America
Indians.
Vespucci or Bjarni. They made it to America before
Who?
Columbus. Bjarni. He was
Leif
like
Erikson.
Norwegian.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
in like Norwegians
Yeah.
like skipped
Vikings.
through Vikings skipped through like
Mhm.
Greenland, Iceland, and came to.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Let's focus, guys.
So we're talking.
All right.
Minerva,
Yeah. So like the whole
Stacy.
Minerva thing, like I thought it was dumb, and I think they shoehorned in something even more than just the two storylines that were even remotely interesting. Like,
There's another storyline too, maybe with the truth thing too. Sorry, not to sidetrack you.
The truth.
kind of the whole truth thing. I think the truth revolves around the whole Minerva weird descendants god people,
You might be right.
and because it has the Eden
Created
like,
Adam and Eve.
the whole apple of Eden thing. That's all this weird god, like the weird. I don't know, what do they call
So,
themselves?
do you think it's like a symbolism? Like,
the
as we
ancients.
perceive the Bible, we hear the story of Adam and Eve. Are they doing a twist on that?
I think
Yeah,
Where
so,
yeah.
you think so? Okay, that kind of makes sense to me now. Like, it's not exactly what you think. Or
Well, it's
that's-
called the truth, and when you watch the video, it's set in a futuristic setting with
Yeah.
all the buildings and anything else. Now the question is, if that's the truth, is that the truth from the future, or is this a advanced civilization that lived way before and then was destroyed and it all started over again? And the apple was the main thing the entire time.
Well, so that's kind of what Minerva actually like alludes to. Was she was
This has
before and like greed and power and stuff destroyed their world, and then humans were like created or born or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then we inherited the earth, but they knew of like a forecoming future where the earth's going to get fucking flipped on its goddamn axis. It's fucking boring. I'm sorry, like this game could have used less of that, and it would have been way more interesting if they just would have made it about the apple.
It could have been. It could have been good if it was better developed. But
the story, yes, absolutely.
No, I'm just saying that aspect of the story. But again, they just threw it at you in the last couple minutes of the game.
It's jarring, yeah.
And they make you, hey, you better, like, it's kind of like, you're not going to appreciate something that is just thrown at you in a couple minutes span. It's something that has to be, like, sinking in with you and developing and making you care for it throughout the course of a game, not just tossed wayside.
And even Ezio is like, wait, you can't go. I have so many questions.
So do we, Ezio.
So do we. It was
So
like,
do
what?
we.
Yeah, and then the end credits, stupid fucking cliffhanger. Too.
Well, it's funny with the credits because I actually was like, oh, that's the credits? That's a little weird. I got to go piss. And I came back and I was Desmond and I was like, oh, shit. I have to do things. They're like, come on.
Come on, Desmond. You have to help her. What are you doing? You're wasting time.
I was like, oh, shit.
We have to run through and fight everybody.
Yeah, and it sucked because you can't do what Ezio could. You
No.
can do like a quarter of what Ezio could.
I was wondering why you said wait until after the credits. That was happening during the credits.
Oh, you're right. It was still
so
scrolling.
you probably
scrolling,
let
you're
it
right.
sit there for quite some time now.
I had to go, you know. When you gotta go, you gotta go.
It's a good quote from Jurassic Park.
What? Oh, gosh.
When you gotta go, you gotta go.
When you gotta go, you gotta go.
You gotta go.
But that's not what I'm gonna do.
He left us.
No, put out your hand.
So
It's turned into Jurassic Park, Clark.
Yeah,
You can't stop it.
are we good? Are we good?
Dun,
Let me see.
dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
Too loud.
Oh, so one other point of dialogue. Now, this is outside the world of Ezio. This is with Sean and Rebecca, Chris, and
Make up a name. I could give.
the main character is in
Desmond.
Desmond, thank you.
Julio.
There's
Julio Jones.
I liked Sean's sarcasm because there was one during when they're talking.
Snarky.
Kinda. They're talking about
Snarky
some kind of
Brit.
scene or something like that, and Rebecca chimes in, "Ooh, I like that movie," and then Sean immediately
he's
retaliates
such a dick.
with, "Rebecca, the grown-ups are talking."
Yeah.
It's like, oh, you want to talk about movie instead of
Burning
trying
of
to do work and everything else. He's like, no, that's great. You go ahead. I'm like, damn, he's a dick.
Burning of the Vanities, I think.
So, again, getting back to, I wish we would have spent more time with those characters. I feel like I could have liked him if I knew more about that character, but it's just a shell at this point.
No, that's true.
There's no substance there. Subject 16 question mark real quick. They allude to it. I think it's like extra content if you pick up all the extras or like all the little hieroglyphs or something that you have to.
Oh, the
Yeah.
glyphs.
Yeah.
I think he's part of the overall story then, I guess. Like, they probably established him more in the first one and in the third and fourth and whatnot.
Well, the glyphs give you the look at the truth.
Yeah.
the truth.
So he was the one that maybe put the truth into the world of Ezio.
You guys keep
Possibly.
saying the
Well,
truth, and I keep thinking of...
he's the one who, because
My penis,
he
'cause bitches
encoded
can't
everything.
handle it.
Yeah.
No,
he
San
encoded
Andreas.
everything in.
San Andreas, the truth. I'm the truth, man.
Let's get into gameplay.
Gameplay.
So I personally really did enjoy most of the gameplay. The actual playing itself. Some of the side missions, again, it just feels like padding, but at least the sneaking around, basically free running up buildings, I like that. I did enjoy that you did acquire new things as you progress through the game. Like one ability, like when you meet up with the Thieves Guild and Rosa teaches you how to leap
double
up
jump?
high. Yeah.
Or not double jump, but
Double jump?
the jump grab.
Jump
Yeah.
grab, yeah.
So for details like that, I really did like it. Dislikes, one of the biggest one was when you're trying to get up to like the very top of a building and where you have to get on like the top of the cross to get synchronized so you can get the view, and you press up at the very wrong moment and fucking Tomb Raider swan dive to your death.
Yeah, they definitely did not perfect the free running in this one.
No.
I found myself like running and jumping off of something that I didn't mean to. It wasn't. It's weird. When I wanted it to be stickier, like where it was, no, like when I wanted it to really like stick me to a like edge and have me like
Latch on.
more guided towards like the next hop or something like that, it was like functional 75% of the time, and you'd always have that one leap where you're like, oh fuck,
And I'm dead.
half my health or I'm
Yeah.
dead. Yeah. And then you'd also have, when you wanted it to be really like nice and smooth, there's also those times where you'd like go and try to grab on something and you would just like, no, all you have to actually do is go straight up, and he's just like looking off to the right and he's like holding on to a ledge and
What am I
where
doing?
do I go? Like, do I have to be like 100% precise with the fucking controller? Like, does it have to be like true zero north? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just little things like that bothered me about the gameplay. The controls.
Can't agree with you more. That was my number one note on gameplay. Not only like diving off of the fucking highest building in the city to your death.
Which, let's be honest, we just do that at least once in any game anyway, just to get it out of the way. Or at
Save your
least
game.
I do.
Take the biggest jump you can.
Yeah,
Reload.
exactly.
Yeah.
But not only that, but when you're climbing down, I was holding the B button so I would drop at certain points, but it keeps grabbing each ledge on the way down, and I'm like, fucking, I just want to drop. There was a lot of times when I just wanted to drop off a building, even if it was to do damage, just so I can catch up to somebody that maybe I was chasing.
It just sounds
okay.
like a personal problem. I just wanted to drop off of a building.
Yeah.
All you need to do is just not hold the button in, and you'll just drop.
Yeah, I would push circle and he would fall, and then I could latch on a lower portion.
You could just, if you click it, he clicks circle or B.
B.
Then he lets go, and then if you click the grab button while you're descending, he'll grab onto another ledge, and then you can,
You can time it and
yeah,
work your way down.
instead of just holding onto it the whole time and getting stuck on every single ledge and not trying something different.
It was frustrating, though. I will say that.
You can do that, but it is kind of what he's saying. Like, sometimes you don't stick to the edge. Like, if you're still holding R1 and you're trying to get to like a tricky spot, sometimes you just go right fucking past it. Even if you're like, as you're letting go of right trigger so that you're not free, like the free running block or something like that. You know what I'm talking about? Like, because there's like free run and sprint. And if you hold both of them, you free run as fast as you can.
Yeah.
Without limits almost.
Yeah.
And then if you're just running, you're like too sticky. And then if you're free running without, you're like too like slippery, like
Too loose.
Yeah, like you just don't.
And in that same note, it kind of falls in the same vein of the gameplay. But like when you're fighting somebody on a rooftop, like the archers that were on a ton of rooftops, hitting him over and over and over again with a sword until he falls off. If you don't stop swinging immediately, you fall off as well.
Yep.
And I feel like as a character, you would know, hey, that's the thing that pushed him over the edge. Stop. Like you stop
Yeah.
yourself from like, jumping off the fucking building yourself.
I would hate like assassinating somebody, and then you're like right at the edge, and you're like, well, I know I'm gonna stand up and fall to my fucking death, and it would always fucking happen.
I don't know what you guys are talking about, really. Like, I didn't have instances where I would kill somebody and then it would force me to fall off the...
Ralph's like,
No.
Ralph's like, wait, you can climb on buildings in this game?
No. I want to get into the climbing. Really, I do, because coming from Breath of the Wild, where you have a stamina meter for everything, and then playing this game where you can just climb forever, it was really, like, refreshing. Like, it was really nice to just be able to climb without any real problem. I mean, as long as you have a grapple or something that you can latch onto, you're fine, you know, no actual stamina gauge. You know, the archers, they were a pain in the ass where it was almost like, okay, the game is designed for you to climb and be on rooftops. And towards the second half of the game where I was like, I just want to get to the next point to get through this, I would just run through the crowd. And I started to get good at running and then stopping so I wouldn't push somebody over or bump into a guard or and I can't believe none of you have said it. Guys, the hardest part of this game for me was not like any of the boss fights, not any of the stealth kills or any of the guys on your list,
The people
or any
with
of the
the boxes.
combat. The people with the fucking boxes who would literally seek
yeah.
you out
They
and
would.
walk
They
into
would.
you, boom, it drops and shatters into a million fucking pieces, and then the guards are like, hey, who's that guy? Fuck you, and get out of here. The whole thing, like, those fucking box carrying, book toting librarian assholes would just see you in a white, just cling to you like a magnet to metal.
Bippity boppity, here I come.
I have a note I wrote down about it. Have you ever seen the movie Hot Fuzz?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
There's a scene in that movie where Simon Pegg turns a corner and he's like, mothers. And then it just shows all these mothers pushing their kids and he's chasing this guy down. There was a couple acts where I'm chasing this guy down and all of a sudden I'll turn a corner and there's like 8 guys with boxes just coming right at you and you're like, fuck.
All the boxes.
Boxes are the new children.
No, children come from boxes.
But really, like
Accurate.
like fist fighting the Pope, the final boss, easier than avoiding those fucking box motherfuckers trying to get through the. Unbelievable. Like it's obviously
Probably the number one reason that red bar goes up.
Yeah.
About your.
Yep.
The worst one was when you are disguised as the guard and you have to carry the box of stuff.
There are heat seeking in that one.
Yeah.
Like,
You're walking over and here comes 3 of them and they're just walking in a line. And then as soon as you start getting closer, they just turn and start walking towards. Like, no, fuck you. I don't want to do it.
I don't want to join your box club. Get away from me. No, stop.
Yeah.
Stop it. No,
I
get
get
away.
that we're both holding boxes, but I'm not going to drop mine.
We don't have anything in common. Leave me alone. Stay away.
The only time it was ever appropriate was when that fucking bard started chasing you around. Now, I'm sure everybody took a different approach. Mine was usually, sometimes I would throw the gold at him, but if you would kind of like sprint run and bump into him, he would drop and break his guitar. And that gave me more satisfaction than stabbing him in the face was, here's the thing you love. I'm going to destroy it and then walk away from you while you sulk.
No, it's all about stabbing them in the fucking face. I'm sorry. Every time, I don't care what mission, even if I'm going to fail the mission, those motherfuckers are getting stabbed.
There was the one. I would throw money at him. I wouldn't kill him, but the
Really?
one. Yeah.
Reward rather than a penalty.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, like get out, and sometimes they'd attack you like 3 at a time.
Yeah, they would.
But like the first or second time I saw one of those loot playing pain in the asses, I think I had punch equipped and I accidentally like punched him.
Nice.
And when I punched him, he dropped his loot and he ran away like, but I wrote that for you. Yeah. And like ran away. It was so funny. I'll never forget that.
I don't know what I hated more, the box carriers or those loot players, but God, they were awful.
I tried to avoid actually running on the streets as much as I could because of the box guys and the fucking loot players.
That wouldn't have been awful if there's like 20 dudes on the rooftop just walking with boxes. Oh, UPS, I got a delivery up here.
I heard you need shingles.
But hold on, going off of the roofs, like I wanted to constantly travel by rooftop because I felt that was the game was pushing. But those archers were such a pain in the ass, and I don't want to say that like I morally didn't feel right to be like, okay, I got to go from point A to point B. I got to kill 30 guys on my way there because they're just archers hanging around.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
Yep,
I know,
me too.
and it's a game, I know, but like
They killed my family.
yeah. I don't know. Eventually, I got to the point where I was like, you know what? Just fuck it. I'll just run around town and got
Because
decent.
he felt guilty for the NPCs dying.
Oh my god.
Well, not only that, but you know, it wasn't faster. Like you would think that if you just had free range of the rooftops, it would be faster. But to me, to have to climb the roof, get up there, and then kill this guy, and then kill this guy, and then kill that guy. Nope, this one spotted me, so now I got to fight him like normally. Whatever. You just get on the ground and just book it.
Yeah.
Is
I
what I
find
found.
one of the issues with the rooftops. Like, yes, I did find it quicker in some instances.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of times, especially if you don't have the map unlocked because you didn't do one of the perching points.
Yeah.
And then you get to a point, oh, wow, I can't make that jump. Then you got to find a different route or take damage just jumping down. Mm-hmm. So I found that was like a kind of like the main thing that kind of forced you to go back to the streets, more or less.
Get back on the streets, bitch.
Yeah.
All right, so unless you guys have anything else, let's move into the combat side of it, because I really wanted to touch on how the combat, it puts you through this like mini tutorial with at your uncle's place at the villa, and you learn how to like disarm, and you learn how to counter and block and do all this stuff. But like, if it was a group of like maybe 2 or more guards, I would just drop a smoke bomb and then just like stealth kill all of them.
Oh, dude, I was all about the counters.
No, I like the combat with that. That's what I think really drew me into the game, was the combat system for it. Because yes, there were some where you can just keep swinging away and you're going to tick the damage off little by little, but there's some where it's just you stand around, there's 7 guys and you're just waiting. One lunges forward, counter, slices Achilles, and then stab him like, through the back, out the chest, and then wait for the next one.
Well, I found that countering wouldn't automatically give me an instant kill.
On
Yeah,
some
not
enemies,
all.
not
Yeah.
all of them. And it all depends. Some of it depends on the actual weapon that you're using also.
Okay. Full admission, I didn't actually buy that many of the weapons until the end of the game just to fill out like the inventory. No, I'm serious.
Wow,
I-
really?
I had the one like knife that was like a big like knife or whatever, and then eventually like the last like chapter I think I bought Altair's sword. But primarily, I just used the blades. And like I said, if it was a big brawl, I would just like sort of lurk around in the crowd and get behind somebody and just get them from behind and then find another one and get them from behind. Like there were a couple instances where you yeah, I know. Sorry, I said that. There were
Sneaking around getting guys from behind.
Oh, yeah, sure.
That was your MO.
I really did use the wrist blades or the stealth blades primarily for everything.
I would do that when I was free running. I would just try to assassinate pretty much all the guards as quickly as I could and just keep running and running.
Keep running, keep running.
What I really appreciated was the fact that they really make you work for the big battles. Like if you're dealing with two guys that can't be insta-killed, one guy that can insta-kill, and like a polearm guy or an axe guy or a giant sword guy. Because you'd really have to prioritize like, okay, I need to take the little guys out first, or I need to take the giant guy out first. So anytime there was a giant guy, my strategy was I'm immediately going to fists because the big guys were vulnerable to fists. All the other weapons they would block. But if you pull your fists out, they were pretty vulnerable to it, and if they weren't, you can disarm them and instant kill them.
Oh, shit.
That is how I dealt with every single one of them.
Nice.
Truth be told, too, I've played 1, 2, the whole trilogy, 3, 4, Syndicate. I've played like pretty much all of the
Played
Assassin's.
Syndicate, really? Okay.
Yeah, and the combat gets better and better as you go through, but this game is where it kind of clicks.
Right.
And they build upon this model for the rest of them, and the combat is the counters look so fucking cool, and the fact that you can counter upon counter upon counter. I had like several instances where I'd like just be pulling the sword out of somebody that I had just downed, and someone's about to hit me, and hit the counter button real like as quick as I fucking could, and just like boom, that dude's down. Another dude, boom, that dude's down. Like it was a lot of fun, and then like disarm the big guys. I just liked all the built-in, I guess, assassinations and executions and stuff like that. I really appreciated that kind of stuff.
I thought it was kind of neat that sometimes the polearm guys would actually take the polearm, snap it in half over their knee, and then just start using it as a closer combat weapon.
Yep.
I didn't actually have that happen. Cool.
Yeah, it happens a couple times, and if there's a lot of stuff going on, it is kind of easy to miss, but there's ones where it's almost like they just get frustrated, like, fuck it, snap, all right, let's do this. But then it does make them a little easier to kill, or at least takes away that range.
Yeah. One of my favorite executions in the game is actually from a polearm guy. If you disarm him with if you disarm anybody in the game, the next time you hit them is an execution no matter what. It could be a giant armored guy or anything, and it could be the first hit from a giant armored guy. If you disarm him, the next hit you do is automatically an execution. Coolest one is the polearm. He grabs it, hits the dude in the stomach, and he kind of like bends down, and as he's standing up, Ezio just like does this like flying, it looks like a Superman punch, but with the polearm at the end, right in the eye.
Nice.
And the dude just drops, and I was like, "Huh, that's interesting." And the guy's like laying on the ground with the pole in his fucking face, sticking out.
sticking
And
up.
I was like, So I picked one up, and he just still has the like his head's just constantly like bobbling around with the pole arm just stuck in it. It was awesome.
So as far as combat goes, I found myself changing up the strategy quite often. Not that I thought any particular way was better than another, but just to keep it interesting. Because I found when, I'm just going to keep trying to assassinate people, that gets boring after a while. Or if you keep doing the sword fights, that keeps getting boring after a while. So I tried to change up my strategy here and there. Even as far as like grabbing mercenaries, throwing them into battle, and then walking around the outskirts.
And just
and killing people.
assassinating,
That's what I would
yeah.
do a lot, yeah.
So no, I tried a billion different things just to keep it interesting as I'm playing through the game. And to see,
whole billion?
Yes, a billion.
I think that goes credit to their combat system, because I was fully expecting. I had forgotten that this was in this one. that if you sneak up behind somebody and they're engaged with another person fighting, it's an instant kill.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about that. So the first time I was like, all right, well, I'm just going to smack this guy around because I can probably get 2 hits in before. And just Ezio runs up and just runs the fucking sword through his spine. Like, it's awesome.
I will say my favorite looking kill, though, is, and I did this in the last sequence, but there's 2 guards facing completely opposite of one another. And I snuck up behind him, and he just sticks the blades out, almost like Jesus on the cross.
Yeah, he
kinda
does.
thing.
He does
really?
the dual
Right,
pose.
yeah.
Never seen that one.
Yeah,
Wow.
if you get right behind, like right in between them, if they're coming up, he just walks up and then just drops them.
Mhm.
Oh, it's so
Oh,
cool.
wait. No, wait. I've done that with people in front of me.
Not in front, though. He
No.
goes
Either
straight
side. Cool.
out to the side. I thought that was awesome.
So you know how? Never mind. It's not in this game.
Okay. So, did any of you guys...
Hold on. Actually, I just want to say it because now it's going to like sit in there.
Okay.
What's really cool? Actually,
Cut it in, Ralph.
Record it, Ralph.
I think it's in Brotherhood, the next one. What you can do is when you assassinate somebody and they're like still standing there, kind of like in shock as they're like slowly dying, you can hit the gentle push button and you put your hand on their shoulder and push them off roofs. It's fucking awesome. And like pushing somebody into the street is actually like way more of an actual distraction. People gasp. They're like, "What's going on?" And like it actually gets the attention of like people more than in this game. And it's something I kept trying to do. Like I would like assassinate somebody and then try to do the gentle push, and he would just like stand there and look like he was like fondling the guard's balls as he's about to die.
Maybe. Ezio's a lonely man. Did you guys kill any civilians?
All the
either
time.
intentionally
Yeah.
or accidentally?
All
Okay.
the time, both.
Both.
I did one thing where I was like, I set myself up on a rooftop. I was ready to like come down and like kill all these dudes. And I came down, got one, stood up, and then like immediately killed 2 civilians. And they were just like, I was like,
Ezio
shit.
did not kill civilians.
Yeah, it's like Ezio never killed civilians.
So how many do you have to kill before you get like a game over? Or
I think
something?
it's 2 or 3 in a row.
Really?
And it
Yeah.
just desyncs you.
So you can just keep going 1 and 1, 1 and 1.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah, mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, I had this.
Every time you just got to kill a little boy every once in a while.
What?
I had
I'm gonna
this.
cut that in.
Cut it in.
Cut it in. I had this. I had like something similar where there was like a guard posted up right next to a group of thieves that were on a rooftop, and I was like, "All right." And the assassinate button comes up, and I'm like, "Yes." And instead of jumping over the group of thieves, he just dropped down in the middle and just kills 2 of them. And I was like, "Oh God, no!" Like that's not what I meant to do. They just like booked. Like, oh God.
You know when I killed the most civilians? You see the little red marker show up on the map where it's like a guy with money running away?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You're chasing after him, but he's running through crowds of people, and you're just like, I got him now. Whoop. Oh, wait, I got him now. Whoop. It's like all the time. It's
So you're supposed to just tackle them. You
Yeah.
get the most money if you just tackle them.
I
really?
found it was easiest
Yeah.
to just shoot them because you can even pick them off while
Yeah.
they're climbing up the side of a building or
Yeah.
something.
I'm glad you brought that up, Harry, because the shooting, the wrist mounted, pistol or whatever, gauntlet mounted pistol, I was really looking forward to getting that, and I thought it was going to be awesome to have. And after I got it, I think I only used it 3 or 4 times, and I found it a lot less satisfying to use than the blades.
It was. I think you have to use it on the one assassination, though.
You do.
Oh,
Where
the
the one
fireworks.
guy's on the boat.
On the boat,
And
yeah.
you're hiding in the crowd
Yeah,
kind of
You
thing.
don't have a choice on that one during Carnival.
That sequence felt like padding. Like I
I
liked that it was
enjoyed that
different.
one, though.
Yeah, I liked that it was a change up, but I still felt like it was padded.
Oh, where you
To
have
play
to
capture the flag like 3 times.
I'm
Gotcha.
not going to lie. I felt like every sequence in between 1 and 14 was padded.
That's very true.
Okay.
Sorry.
No. Babu.
There was a mission named Assume the Position. I thought that was funny. But I don't really need to say any more than that.
Some of the mission names were pretty interesting. It would be like 2 birds with 1 stone, and then it was like 2 birds with 1 blade, and then it was like
Now, I don't know if you remember this, because this was a small part in the game. When you're carrying Rosa, it flips the controls. Your movement is different at that point in the game. And it's not the same as when you're walking with... I think it was the actual sticks flipped.
Really?
Maybe this was just for the... Did anybody else play on the 360?
No.
I played on Xbox One.
Well, what happened
You
was
played on
that...
Xbox One?
Yeah, backwards compatible.
Oh, okay, I wasn't sure if you had because I didn't know that there was an HD remake or not an HD remake, but a remake of the Ezio trilogy for the.
I did know
current
that, but no, I
consoles.
played like the
Okay.
$5 version you can go pick up at GameStop.
Yeah,
so
I
I
got,
got
what, $3.99 I think I
Yeah.
got it for, or something like that.
You're welcome.
But no, the sticks reversed for that scene and that scene only, and I thought that was very
Weird.
jarring.
Weird.
I don't remember that.
I don't remember that.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't
Because
think that
all you
happened
do
to
is
me.
pick her up and you
Carry her
only
to the Thieves
carry her
Guild.
for a little bit.
Yeah.
You get to that one door and then you're done. But for that act, the sticks were reversed, and it threw me for a loop.
Something else that I wanted to bring up in gameplay is I loved Leonardo da Vinci's role
Thank you.
in the gameplay.
Yes.
Like the cart mission and the flight mission. Now, the flight mission I had some issues with, like
As
just
did I.
it was a matter of complications. But
You would dive out of nowhere, just like start
yeah,
losing altitude real quick.
but those different variations paved the way for they were such hits in the game that it branches off into the other games and they expand on a bunch of them, and it's really fun. I love the cart mission. The cart mission where you're just like knocking people off and shit.
Oh yeah,
Anyone managed to flip their cart?
yeah.
No.
I did that.
Yeah.
Take a turn too sharp and it's leaning over. He's like, "Careful, you'll flip it." Yeah, I totally
Yeah,
did flip.
and he never warns you with enough time. He's like, "Careful, you'll flip it." Everyone's dead,
and it's done.
They're like, "Oh, Leonardo's dead. Oh, you're dead." Desinking.
Thanks, Da Vinci.
DC.
Thanks for painting that picture for me.
I liked the flying one. I got it on my third try, I think, because I tried to take a shortcut, and no, you couldn't do it. It's pretty clear you have a set path.
There's
with
two
the-
paths actually.
There's two
Yeah.
paths? Okay.
Mhm.
So I did the wrong path the first time. I got stuck between buildings and crashed or whatever. Eventually I started to really enjoy that. It's like, this is a nice change up. Similar for the cart thing, I got that one on the first try, I think. And it wasn't like a standout moment to the game for me really, but it was refreshing. It was a refreshing change of pace. I have to give it props for that. And even like the little like model of both the flying machine and the cart in the villa.
Yeah.
Now, I did like how they had some mini games thrown in there. I'm a big fan of mini games. So anytime you found the glyphs, and then you would have the eagle vision on it,
Yeah.
and then that would just take you right into it. Playing through this one was a little easier, I guess, because I remember the first time playing through this, I really struggled when it's like, pick out, what's the pictures that are alike. And I'm looking and it's like, all right, well, it's like 2 or 3 of Venus. Is it just naked chicks? No, it's not just naked chicks. What's going on?
Oh, I saw this first try.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that's when it clicked. It's like, oh, wait, apple tree. And then
Yeah.
Obviously-
Anything with apples, like
Yeah.
But it was highlighted red in the pictures, and all the other colors were fairly, like, they used very heavy on the brown palette,
Yeah.
more or less.
but they would have that, or there was the ones where you had to start flipping the
circles.
to make the
Yeah.
picture, or you would have to use the infrared in
Find
the
the
famous
apple
ones.
eating-
It's like Gandhi or whatever, like presidential. It was just like
Yeah.
more present day pictures that they still kind of incorporated. It's mini games, and I just like mini games. So I did appreciate the fact that there was little side stuff to be like, oh, all right, here's an extra couple minutes out of my time.
Now, as far as mini games go, you wouldn't think this looking at the game, but those points where you're adding more to the map, where you got to scout at the top of the building,
Yes.
that's almost like a mini game in itself.
Oh yeah.
Find the way up to the top of this building.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So something about that is that was such a time sink into the game and stretched it out so much that Ubisoft now uses that in everything. Almost every single fucking Ubisoft game has towers that you go up and you unlock parts of the map.
Far Cry.
I remember that in Siege.
No, I'm just not that, but like
I know.
Ghost Recon has like little points that you have to do
Sure, yeah.
to unlock different parts of the map and things like that. Like it's a reoccurring theme, but they were kind of the first ones to do it.
That
and
gets
it's
kind of old if you do it in every one of your IPs, though.
yeah, but it's not just them. Like
Oh,
like
it's not just that, you're saying.
other companies that do like
Breath of the Wild's like that.
yeah, Breath
it
of the
really?
Wild.
Oh, yeah.
Breath of the Wild has stuff like that. Horizon
Zero Dawn.
Yeah, Horizon Zero Dawn has towers. Far Cry, but that's an Ubisoft property.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of games now that use that as a trope. It's become like there's tons of memes. Like
Got it.
Watch Dogs does the same thing. If you guys have ever played those games,
It'll get old eventually. I guarantee it.
dude, it's been going on.
It's
It's
old
been going
already,
on
I
like
think.
10 years now. It's everyone.
I don't know. I guess I don't play those games because I have not encountered that. in
You don't really play adventure games though.
No, not really.
Yeah, you're not a big open world guy, but it's a pretty common trope right now.
Your world is very closed in.
Apparently.
Very linear.
No Skyrim, Harry?
No,
No.
Really?
Skyrim or Fallout.
What was that one game I was hooked on for a while? The one where the guy loses his heart
He
to
loses
the
his
dragon.
heart to the dragon.
Dragon
I was
Heart?
playing this when we
Dragon
were living-
Age?
Dragon Dogma. Dragon's Dogma.
Yeah, Dragon's Dogma. That game was sick.
I stopped about halfway through the game really seeking out those towers. I did like that aspect of it.
There's a lot of them though.
There are a lot, almost too many.
66.
66, right. So I think I had like 30. And by the time I got to, collecting the codexes, I was like, okay, I don't need the rest of them.
There's a lot of different collectibles. Like, it would be great
Oh,
if
yeah.
they had like one or two, but it's just
So
like,
much.
all of them. Just, ugh.
No, I did like where you could get Altair's armor and everything. Did any of you guys complete the Assassin Tombs to get that? No.
No.
I did a couple, but
It-
not all of them.
I did 4 of them and then realized how much of a time sink the last 2 are. I was like, fuck it. I'm not doing this. I needed to focus on beating it. Did you unlock it?
Yeah, I did all of them.
Nice.
I just like the extra ones because it's, even though it was kind of, it takes up a lot of time, it's more the free running. I'm trying to, what's the best way?
It's like
It
free
makes
run
it-
challenging runs.
Yeah.
Parkour!
Yeah.
Parkour runs,
It-
yeah.
It's like a parkour platformer almost.
I'll teach you a parkour Italian rules.
So I did end
Involves
up going
pizza.
for, I went for all 6.
And pasta.
And plus just
plumbing.
because I wanted
And
the
plumbing?
outfit.
Plumbing.
Mario's a plumber.
So
Mario's in this game.
all Italians are plumbers.
Hey, I didn't make the stereotype.
No, all plumbers are Italian.
You're right.
I lay the pipe.
I lay the pipe. I put it in the peach.
So,
One up.
Music.
graphics. Episode 15?
Episode 16.
Fuck. Touche, motherfucker.
You forget something, I forget something.
It was a moment, Ralph.
Yeah, like
Damn it. It's Italians, right?
yeah, they just
Is this episode 15?
This
No,
is
this is
episode
16.
16.
Because 15 was 15.
Yeah.
That's why they laughed so hard.
That's right.
Yeah, I was trying to be
because he was
smart
like,
ass.
oh, episode 15 because I fucked up the order. I was like, oh yeah, music. He's like, oh no,
Oh.
graphics. Episode 15.
Oh, and you don't know
And
the
I
order
said
after
episode
15
16.
episodes. Got it. You both fucked something up. Got
God
it.
damn it.
You had to be there, Ralph.
He was.
was
That's the
here.
problem. Like he literally couldn't not hear us.
Sorry, what? Please repeat.
Right. So I think we covered our fair share on gameplay. So let's
Yeah.
get into some graphics.
Graphics. Graphics. Graphics.
Graphics.
I think the game's gorgeous, especially for the time that it came out. I think it's great. I think all the vistas look really good. The buildings are historically accurate. Well, like the main like monuments and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They're all really beautiful. The water effects are really good, and just like kind of the general, how people look. Some of the NPCs, they get a little blurry, like they don't have as much detail and stuff
little
like that.
bit.
For like the main cast and like the environment, which is like the big draw here.
Mhm.
It's beautiful.
Oh yeah, they did a great job on it. They did a really good job. Like actually, when they're speaking, the mouth looks like it's actually making the sound that's
The mouth that
coming
makes
out
it
of
a sound.
That's exactly what it does. So I think the detail that they put into it was really good, and especially for when I first played the game, because I remember that being one of the big things that really took me back too was the environment. That was the big draw. Where here's this open, whether you're in Venice, whether you're in Florence, it's so, I don't know, what am I looking for? Where it's not like the area is just so small, so it's not like they had to put
Open world.
too much, yeah, where it's vast and there's a lot of little details, and they put a lot into every single detail that that pretty much went into it. Well, most of it, I would say. But
No, I wish. Okay, before I even start this, let me preface.
but
with-
you did just start.
I know, yeah. I liked Venice the most out of all the areas that you get to explore.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that city. I thought it was nice looking. I even liked the waterways got a little frustrating when, oh wow, I can't find a road over there. Well, I'm going to swim now.
Yeah.
That did get old, but
I can't tell you how many times I would go to jump off of a building and was like, I'm not going to make it. Hope it's water. Like,
now I wish. Okay, there was two smaller areas in the game. I forget their exact names.
Borgia and
One was like a big open field with like a little castle in the middle.
Yeah.
And one was like a swampland almost, or
With
along the
the
coast.
ship, with the
Yeah,
ship.
and start
yeah.
with an R.
I wish they would have cut both of those out and maybe put Rome as a third big area.
It is kind of disappointing that Rome is like a straight shot and you can't explore it at all.
You don't. You get
Seems
the
like a-
outskirts, and you're like, and you even see like the last thing it loads when it's loading the synchronization is the
The Sistine Chapel or no?
no, it was the
no, because you run around.
You
the
go in the
Sistine
Sistine Chapel. That's right.
oh, what the fuck
It's one of the Assassin's tombs.
the arena in Rome.
the
Colosseum.
Colosseum.
Thank you.
Oh, really? You see the Colosseum in the
You
distance?
do. It's
It
the last,
loads right
Yeah.
before the
and you're like, why couldn't we have explored that city a little bit more? I mean, Venice was beautiful. Honestly, it was absolutely beautiful. But I think they should have cut out the two small areas and maybe put in Rome
So
instead.
you've got the main town, and then you have Venice as the second town, and then the final area of the game is Rome.
Yeah, it was,
with the
Florence. Florence was the first one.
Florence, yes.
And then Venice, and then Rome.
Yeah.
I think
Buy
they
into that, yeah.
could have cut out, because I feel like maybe 2/3 of the game seemed like it was in Venice, if I'm not mistaken.
A
Like,
large-
it did seem lopsided
Yeah.
between the different areas that you're exploring.
That-
Venice had a lot going on in it too.
It did.
Yeah.
I-
It
I-
was the largest map in the entire game.
Yeah.
So it did look great, and at times it actually felt like a living, breathing world. But then there were other times where I guess the randomness of the NPCs that they threw in the city just didn't work, and it just seemed robotic.
Too many boxes.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the exact thing I'm thinking of. But at other times it worked. Like all the people looks like they're going about their normal day. Those guys are talking over there. Those girls are dancing over there.
Fantastic.
You know what I mean? It just
Yeah.
it felt like a real world. But like I said, there were times where I guess the algorithm that they were using or the planning or the set paths that these people were on, it clashed.
Sometimes, but I mean, when you're fitting that much, I mean, it's definitely helpful that, compared to some other games where the system that it's going through, whether it be the PS3 or 360, had the extra capability to have that many people all at once. There's going to be like a little hang up here and there, but I think at least for what they pulled off, where you can have 30 to 50 characters on the screen while still individually interacting with a couple of them and being pretty precise on that, I thought that was pretty impressive.
Okay, so I did want to say that the remake that they did for the game that's on PS4, I don't know if it's on the Xbox One or not, but they made a remake, the Ezio Trilogy, where they touched things up a little bit and released it on the next generation. I watched a comparison for the footage of that, and the only thing that I really saw that they changed was like the temperature of the colors. Like, this game's very brown in some areas. Other areas, it can be more green or whatnot. But when you're in the city, like, a light brown is like the overtone of it. When you look at the new edition, it's like there's more color. There's more variation of the color. So I don't want to say that this is like an early.
Sorry,
Yeah.
if you don't mind me cutting in. Does
Yeah.
that add to the game or does it pull away from the game?
I don't really know. That's a fair point.
Because, I mean, they used a lot of brown because I don't think everything
Brick?
was vibrant
Yeah.
in a city. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
The brick and
it
the
makes
tiles
sense
were that
to
color.
use that many browns.
Well, they went back and they changed it then. So I was a little conflicted. It's like, which do I prefer? Like, okay, this version looks a little bit better. It's the remastered edition or whatever. And then, have the original version. To agree with what you were saying, Clark, I think for the time, the game looks great. It still looks good now, especially Ezio, especially his character model and how the robes and the details on that and the way the different pieces of armor fit and everything. Like, I really felt like this, even though the game's almost 10 years old, not really, like 8 or 9, I was still impressed with the way that it looked.
Yeah, absolutely.
So graphically, and again, I didn't have any frame rate drops. Now the game we're playing it is at this state where I can put the game in, get the latest patch, install it, do whatever. Like day one, I don't know if it was this smooth or nice, but I don't think I had any frame rate drops below 30 that I can really think of. So the performance was good and it looked great.
Mm-hmm. I would have to agree with that.
Yeah, I really feel that they probably pulled off just about. I mean, maybe I thought the horses looked a little hokey, but I'm spoiled because I played a lot of Red Dead Redemption where they took a lot of time to develop the look of the horses with the musculature and everything, the way that the legs move. But the horses, whatever.
Now that I'm thinking about it, the horses felt almost animatronic in a way. They didn't move very smooth.
Yeah,
robot horse.
Yeah.
Don't play Red Dead and then play Assassin's Creed 2.
No. If you want upgraded horse, start with Assassins and then Red Dead.
Although
horse or whores, which was that?
Both.
Oh.
Both.
I enjoy the controls of the horse better in this game than I remember from Majora's Mask, though. I remember using Epona, and the game was frustrating.
And you were playing the game wrong because you should go on roll everywhere.
Oh, God. No. We already reviewed it, guys.
Apparently not enough.
I think it's the second to last person you assassinate. I don't know if anybody got a look at his beard.
Oh, yes, when he turns around and it's just flat.
Yes, that's exactly my note. Flat beard.
Flat beard.
It's like hollow.
Oh,
it's
good
like,
old flat beard.
How do I describe this for audio reasons without it's
when he turns
take
around.
Take a piece of paper, put it over your face and bend it around your face and then make it look like a beard on the front, and then turn to the side. Holy shit, it's a piece of paper.
Yeah, that's exactly what it looked like.
Was that the dojo? The dojo?
The
dojo, yeah.
The dojo.
Music.
All right. So for me, the music, reading up on it, they did have an actual 33 or 35 piece orchestra and also had a choir. I think they could have done better with it, honestly. The background music just did fade into the background, and I think they did end up releasing some type of soundtrack CD for it.
Every game releases a fucking soundtrack anymore.
Maybe I didn't hear it well enough, but there's nothing to me that really stood out at all musically.
I really felt that the music didn't leave an impression on me. The only thing that really stays with me is when you synchronize the eagle locations and it does the wrap around and there's a couple notes that come in. You hear it over and over and over again, I know, but I that's the only thing that I kind of liked. And there were a couple tracks in there that for some reason sounded a lot like Mass Effect, just like the doom 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 doom.
Yeah, kind of.
Like I got a same feel, and I was like, I wonder if it's the same composer. I don't think it is. It was serviceable. They could have done more with it, I guess, but nothing really to write home about.
I hated that synchronization song.
Yeah, that one, Ralph.
Oh, that one? Yeah. That one?
And that would have been great if it was used occasionally in the game, but it was so prevalent that it was just like, fucking stop beating this same little 10-second tune into my head.
If you do all the syncs, you hear it 66 times.
Yeah.
What's funny is, I don't know what game I've played where you jump off by using triangle, but I kept doing it. Like a couple of times where I was like, oh, I'm going to jump off now. And it would just do it again. Because I just tried, it would keep synchronized. What the hell did I play where jump off a ledge is triangle? I think it might have been Metal Gear Solid 5. I'm not sure, but I was I couldn't stop my thumb. It was bugging me out.
Time to press circle. Triangle. Fuck!
Not again.
I mean, go ahead. Sorry, I thought you were
sorry.
done.
There was a couple moments, because I know I've mentioned this before. I do like chorus music. Well, like backup chorus. Choir, thank you. There was a couple songs where there was a soft melody of that. But again, I think it was few and far between. And I think it was only surrounding some of the more religious points in the game.
Makes sense, yeah.
So that was okay. But yeah, I was really looking for at least something I can grasp onto and really like with the music, just so I can say one positive thing about it. I don't have anything.
Yes, Ralph, that one. So the
Chelios cantos Chelios. I'm glad you know that, Steve.
I'm in the dark over here.
Yeah, American Dad.
Oh.
You need to look it up. It's great.
I've heard of it. I've seen a couple episodes. I don't watch it that much.
No, the Chelios Cantos thing. Yeah, I don't really have much to say about the music. I listened to it. It just wasn't really... It was serviceable. I think it did what they intended it to do, but it's not something that really jumps out to me that will stick in my head further than turning the Xbox on and turning it off. I don't think about the music. It's okay.
Yeah, I think that about sums it up for music.
Final thoughts?
Final thoughts.
Final thoughts.
Let's get some thoughts that are pretty final.
So I'm not gonna lie, I was not excited to play this game at first, and midway. Sorry,
I was not excited.
I was not excited.
No, I was
Punches
going off.
Mike.
I was going off of like my previous experience playing the first one. I was like, oh man, it's just gonna be a garbage experience.
It'll be a $3.99 experience.
I was like, why is this game so cheap? Everybody returned it. So I did some research online, and I looked at like a top list of all the entire franchise as far as
How they
Assassin's
rank?
Creed games go, and yes, how they're ranked. And pretty consistently across the board, Assassin's Creed 2 is top of the list. They say if you're going to play any Assassin's Creed, this is the one to play.
I 100% disagree with like all of those lists.
Bafagula, Bafaru.
Yeah, you tell them.
4's the
Stallion.
best. I'm sorry, Black Flag is the best.
As you were saying, Harry.
So basing off of that, like, yes, I'm glad I experienced an Assassin's Creed game from start to finish. I just don't 100% know if this franchise is for me. I think that's the best way I can sum up my final thoughts, to be completely honest. I got to experience it. I'm glad it's in my. I'm glad it's in the past.
I'm glad it's a
Wow.
memory.
Clark, final thoughts.
I really think this game lays down the foundation for the better games to come. I don't even think this is the best one in the Ezio trilogy. I think that's probably Brotherhood, and I really think that it is overhyped. Assassin's Creed 2 is definitely overhyped. There's better out there from the franchise.
Ralph.
You know, I was actually looking forward to playing this game. I had always avoided the Assassin's Creed franchise, and it's one of those things where it's like, I'd probably like that if I tried it. And I sound like a broken record, but having played it, having beaten it, I pretty much enjoyed almost the entire experience. I probably would have, if I weren't playing it for the podcast, probably would have taken more time to do it. I beat it in about 17 hours, but there's definitely more positive than negative. I would give the third game and the fourth game a shot. I think I'd stop after that, depending on what the time frame is on those. Like the American Revolution, I'm really interested in kind of in the third one. I know the third one kind of gets a lot of hate, and then of course Black Flag, I've heard nothing but good things. The second one, I rather liked it. I enjoyed it. Of course.
It's waiting for it. I was really excited that listeners picked this one. Not just because it means I won, but it gave me a reason to play it again.
Oh, now wait a minute.
Totally not a competition.
No, not at all. I won.
Requiescem pace or whatever.
I think that was pretty much it. Even when you pull
We're
away,
gonna start
you
with
can
a
still
down
hear it.
with Steve forum. He's not a winner.
That's your review? I'm so glad that I won.
It'd be great if it was.
You tell him, Ralph. Italian pride.
I'm a stallion.
He does drive a Mustang. It's very fitting for his Italian heritage.
Yes. I was
Leave my steed out of this.
I was glad to play through again. It's definitely not in depth as I played through the first time, and I think for the timing of when I first played this, I enjoyed it a lot more than I did the second round through. I found some things to be a little more tedious, and then especially when it came to those codex pages at the very end and I forgot about it, and definitely a little bit of a point of contention. So what I really did enjoy about the whole game was just all the different aspects they put in between the free running, between some of the combat. You got to build up your own little town and invest into it and build your treasure box, and then you can buy everything.
Absolutely love that part of the game,
Yeah.
actually.
That was a fun one.
Do you want to elaborate at all?
No, I really like the fact that you could go in and like there's the architect and you get this little map of or a little model of the
city.
of the town, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you can put money into it and watch it grow and watch the house go from like, this crumbling piece of garbage with vines all over it to looking immaculate by the end. It was really nice.
Something I will say about that, I thought that was going to be like a extra game or like post game kind of thing.
Sure.
I was able to build all of it before the final sequence in
Yeah,
the game,
me
and
too.
still have enough money to really equip myself with top notch equipment as well.
Hell
Like,
yeah.
I thought that was going to be a big like post game thing, or maybe you get like a quarter of it done by the end of the game or something like that. But no, I think a lot of the stuff you can fit within the confines of the original storyline.
I almost wish there were more tiers, more ways to build it up.
Yeah, that was something I wish. Yeah, they could have elaborated on a little bit.
It would have been okay with them putting more stuff into that to kind of bide the time over.
Yeah, like maybe by upgrading the bank, you can invest money in them. I mean, you kind of do by getting more of a return in your box, but it's pretty simple. It's pretty dumbed down at that point.
Yeah.
Or maybe by upgrading the weapon shop, you have access to more weapons, or something along those lines, like an actual return instead of just financial return.
Discounts, yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, gentlemen, time for the score.
The score.
The score.
That was your sister impersonation.
You guys suck.
The
Are you okay, Harry? Are you having a stroke?
Drinking a little bit.
That was my sis in person pump.
Sis in person. Bennett score.
Sis in person and Pumpanation.
He did not say that. He did not say pump. There was no pumping. Fucking weirdos.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
You should know this by now. We're only 16 deep.
We're only 17 episodes deep.
What's last? You broke him.
Oh man, this has been a good night.
It is. So, Harry, do you want to try over with your impumpanation of your Miss High sister?
I don't even know where I was at.
Who taught you how to make noises like that, Ralph?
Ludicrous.
Diamonds are reckless.
All right.
Feels like
So
a
who's doing the
midget
score?
hanging from my necklace. All right, Ralph, why don't you lead us off with the scores?
I'm going to give Assassin's Creed 2 an 85%.
85. Still a solid score. Harry.
I thought about this quite a bit. I didn't know what I wanted to put it on par with. Max Payne 3 at a 6.0.
All right. I think for myself,
Sorry.
everybody dies tonight.
All right, Ezio, calm down.
I have some outlets to fill.
Wait, you were referring to vaginas, right?
Hold on, real quick. Did you just say referring?
I heard referring and then I smelled it.
No,
You totally did.
No.
Well,
Are you referring to?
Harry, it's okay. Anything can be a vagina if you close your eyes.
He said in cum fart.
Exactly, Ralph.
I referred it into her comfort.
It's picking up what I'm putting down.
All right. The camaraderie is really dropping in this room, guys.
The camaraderie.
The camaraderie.
I think I'm going to have to go ahead and give this a... What was that?
Did you turn your phone off of the side?
I think when I threw it on the floor, it bounced off the button.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Happens to me all the time.
Look at my button.
I'm not touching that. No.
Hold on.
That's what she said.
Wiggle
It
your
just
button.
flicks real gently.
Let me flick
You
your
need a new
button.
phone, dude.
It's because it's...
He throws it on
Why
the
would you do it again? Why would you do that again? God damn it, Harry.
Steve, please give us your score.
I am going to give this game an A-.
Wow.
I really enjoyed it. The gripes I had of this game, not enough to really take it down to B level for me. I really, really enjoy playing this game. Which leaves one. Clark. Clark, go!
All right. This thing on? Hi! Hello, world!
I give it one Joe Pesci.
One Joe Pesci out of 230 rats.
Motherfucker!
Get your fucking shine box. Motherfucker! You see him? You see him stabbing his fucking head, motherfucker?
Oh boy. I'm going to give this game... Steve's preparing himself. Ralph, what was your grandmom's name?
Fuck you.
No, don't do that. Ralph's just staring at... I will look you dead in the eyes and give my score.
You're right, you will.
I will. I give this 2 of your grandmothers. Both of them getting the whole lineage.
What's funny is on this side of the family, I do kind of have 2 grandmothers, but we're not going to get into it. I'm ready, Clark. I am ready.
Oh, I give this game 1 bibbity bobbity out of 2 courtesans.
All right, guys, remember you can support us by throwing up some reviews on iTunes. Or just rate us. Up it out. It goes nice.
Yeah, we would like some feedback. Like, I know I've thrown this out a couple times, but shoot us an email. Let us know what you like about the show, what you'd like to see change. Just anything, just to give us a little bit of direction.
Yeah, a little bit of direction.
Hit us
Maybe
up on
north.
Facebook. Let us know what you think.
Yeah. No, we're trying to create a community here. So anytime you leave some kind of comment, we'll get back to you immediately.
Yeah, we appreciate it. It's nice. Makes us feel warm and fuzzy. And then I make cunsies. So.
Wow.
We literally mean we're trying to create a community.
Yes.
We need lots of samples.
So when a podcast is born.
Don't ask me why I went Russian. We need lots of samples.
And the community will be called the Super Game.
And this was the last podcast you ever heard Clark on. So, all right, guys. So next game is Injustice 2.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Brainiac's
yeah.
coming to get you. Woo! Superman.
All right, great. Well, I think that about wraps up tonight. Ralph, wrap it up.
Wrap your shit, Ralph.
Wrap your shit, Ralph.
Guys, why is this always about me? What?
Because we care about you. That's why.
Huh? What? Okay.
Yeah, I know. It's hard to believe sometimes.
Oh, it really is.
It is. All right. Well, thanks again, guys, for sticking around with us, listening, our banter. So,
Are fucking around.
You have a wonderful night. Thank you for tuning in to Super Fun Game Review Podcast. Go! Oh! Go! 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 Arrivederci, motherfuckers.
Game over. Game over. Game over. Game over. Game over.
Thanks for listening to Super Fun Game Review Podcast Go. Stay up to date on our Facebook at facebook.com/superfunpodcast.
I will cut that in.